all. People are very concerned, and they should be, about this. So I try to do it in a very civilized manner to open it up for discussion and questions. I would like to say just a few words about it. I'm on the Health Committee in the Senate. We did report our bill out about 3 weeks ago. 3 committees in the House have reported their bill out. We have 1 committee left to go, and that's the Finance Committee in the Senate. And hopefully they will report their bill out about, hopefully before mid-September. Then we'll put the bills together, pass them in the House, or in the Senate and the House. And so I always tell people, look, you know, what's in our bill, I think we work very hard. I'm supportive of what we put in our bill. What's going to finally wind up, I mean, we still have to go through the Senate. There's going to be a lot of amendments, a lot of debate, same in the House. And so this thing is not over with yet. There's a lot of changes that have to be made in these bills as we go through. But stick with me. It's guaranteed to at least double your insurance premiums over the next 10 years. It would fail to cover about 1 in 6 people, and about 70 Iowans would lose their coverage every single day. It would be the most expensive plan in the world, but we would still be left with twice as many chronic diseases as Europeans. If you have a pre-existing condition, it would deny you coverage. If you lost your job, you would lose your coverage. Now, if I were to propose a plan like that, you'd probably say that's a crazy plan. Well, it is, because that's what we have right now. So the 5 things that we have tried to do in our legislation, that's what we're trying to do. 1, reduce health care costs. Ensure quality, affordable coverage for every American. Create a public insurance option while protecting individuals' choice of plans and doctors. In other words, if you have a plan and you have a doctor, you want to keep it, you do that. It will address the shortage of healthcare professionals. This is something I've worked very hard on. By getting more young people into health professions that are in primary care and family practice and serving in underserved areas. By paying for them to go through school, if they'll serve in an underserved area. Employer, and they have a good coverage. Here's what this means for you. 1, it will outlaw any kind of discrimination for pre-existing conditions. It will end, secondly, it will end exorbitant out-of-pocket expenses, deductibles, and co-pays. They'll have to abide by yearly caps on how much they can charge for out-of-pocket expenses. 3, the one that I like most is that there will be no co-pays or deductibles for screenings or preventative care. None. So you can go in for your annual checkup, your physical, mammograms, colonoscopies, eye and foot exams for those that are pre-diabetic, and you can get that no co-pays, no deductibles. 4, insurance companies will be prohibited from dropping insurance coverage for those who become seriously ill. Well, then when your plan comes up for expiration, you got to renew it, they just won't renew it. And that happens every day, and that will not be allowed to be done. 5, unlike in the current system, companies will be prohibited from discrimination on the basis of gender. Right now, a man and a woman can have the same situation, same coverage. They charge a woman more because she's a woman. We change that. There will be no discrimination based on gender. 6, the insurance company will not be allowed to place an annual or lifetime cap on the coverage you receive. That's another one. And 7, kids and families will be now covered up to age 26. So your kids will still be able to be covered to age 26. Family. And 8, you will have guaranteed insurance renewal. Insurance companies will be required to renew your insurance, but for one thing, if you don't pay your premiums, they can drop you. But they can't drop you because you get sick or something. So I think these are real reforms, and I think this would be meaningful to everyone who has health insurance or if you don't have it.
I know a lot of people who do not support legislation are are afraid that there's going to be rationing of health care, and Sarah Palin's talking about a death panel. How do you respond to that?
The question had to do with rationing and something about Sarah Palin saying that
There was going to be a death panel.
oh yeah, the euthanasia thing that came out.
How do you respond?
Well, first of all, there is no rationing on this. The bill. We have the health insurance coming on. We're putting subsidies in so people that are low income can get on the exchange. We say if you have your plan now and you like it, you can keep it. No one's forcing you to go off your plan. So all this talk about rationing is just again, a scare tactic. That's all it is. Scare tactic. And the second thing, I don't know how this euthanasia thing came up. Boy, there was one provision that we put in our bill that was supported by conservatives, liberals, Republicans, Democrats. No one offered to change it whatsoever. And it was a provision that said that if you want to, if you as a family and doctors want to get together, and doctors want to talk to you about living wills, advanced directives, powers of attorney, things like that. No one says you've got to. It just says that if doctors do, they can be reimbursed for that kind of action. But we didn't say you had to do it at all. What we're trying to do is to provide information to families and stuff who are facing very tough choices. These are tough choices. And they should have all the information they need in order to make an informed, decent, moral choice. And that's all we're trying to do. I better go over here now. Yeah, I'll go over here. Yes, you're in front. I guess I got to go back and back here pretty soon.
I recently watched you on the Senate Appropriations Committee for autism funding and research.
Autism, yes.
That's my grandson.
Oh.
And right now in the state of Iowa, autism is not covered by any of the insurance companies. And my grandson and his family have moved to California because he couldn't find enough people here to give him the ABA therapy that they felt was needed, and he's doing marvelously.
Yeah.
We want him to come back to Iowa.
All right, sure.
So, is there something in the bill, or is it going to take 3 years? Because I don't want him to be in California for 3 years.
Well, autism is a pre-existing condition, and pre-existing conditions no longer will be kept out of insurance. They won't be able to discriminate based on this pre-existing condition at all. This has to do with people who are getting older who are going to need long-term care, right?
Yeah, correct.
We put a provision in this bill that will begin a process where you can voluntarily, it's called the Class Act, where you can voluntarily put some of your pay into this system, and after 5 years it vests, and you then, later on, if you need long-term care, you can draw out of it. I think up to $1,500 a month, later on. So we are trying to prepare for that baby boomer generation that's coming on. If they can pay in for 5 years into this, then they vest, and they'll have some long-term care. But that's in the bill. That's in the bill. Back up here.
Yeah, I had a two-part question. One has to do with preventative care, and the other one has to do with helping to pay for the cost of the life insurance.
Yeah.
For people getting into school. One is, what are they going to do to try to reinstate physical ed in schools where our children are getting more obese all the time?
Right on.
I mean, it's really gets sad to the point that it's almost self-abuse for people, sitting in front of the TV and playing video games or doing this and doing that. The other question was, a lot of young people think they're going to live forever and they don't need insurance, Well, they're wrong. They're going to not live forever. They're going to get old and they're going to have to pay.
That's right. Well, first of all,
if this health care needs to be funded with taxes.
The question had to do with what if we down the road have to raise taxes to pay for this? That's right. That's what your question was, right? Something like that.
And where do you stand on it?
And where do I stand on that? Well, first of all, that's not my committee. That's the Finance Committee trying to work that out. We'll see what they come up with next month. What I understand, first of all, I would be opposed to raising taxes on the people who are trying to benefit by giving them more health insurance. That would be counterproductive. I do think